In today's episode, I'm flying Han Solo at Hollywood Studios. And yes, I know that joke was bad.
I only hope that we never lose sight of one thing, that it was all started by a mouse.
You are listening to the Main Street Magic Podcast with your hosts, Jeremy Stein and John Marone.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I am your host, Jeremy Stein, and today I'm flying Han Solo and talking about Disney's Hollywood Studios and the all-new Star Tours adventure. As always, you can find us on the web at mainstmagic.com and on Facebook and Twitter at mainstmagic. This past Friday, I had a chance to head down to Hollywood Studios and check out the all-new scenes on Star Tours, which I'll get to that in just a few minutes. First, though, we were recently asked on Facebook how you can navigate Hollywood Studios, since it doesn't follow the somewhat circular layout of the other parks, especially now with all the construction and some of the additional construction walls that are up, cutting off access in certain areas of the park. If you ask anyone, I feel like they're going to tell you that Hollywood Studios is now a half-day park, and I completely disagree. I'm perfectly fine if you're going to say Magic Kingdom is a 2 or 3 day park and Animal Kingdom is a full day park and maybe Epcot is a 2-day park. But Hollywood Studios is somewhere you can go and enjoy everything the park has to offer, from the rides to the shows to the food, and you're going to fill out your entire day from open to close. So we know rides are at a low point, and right now we have Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, Midway Mania, and Star Tours. However, we have plenty of other attractions to enjoy. Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular, Muppets 3D, Frozen Sing-Along. You have meet and greets with the Star Wars characters, March of the First Order, and a Galaxy Far, Far Away stage show, The Little Mermaid Show, Walt Disney Presents, Beauty and the Beast. You have shopping, and you've got plenty of places still to eat or get snacks. So if we were trying to look at having the perfect day at Hollywood Studios and being there from open to close and doing everything that the park has to offer, here's kind of my suggestion and layout from beginning to end. So you're going to want to secure fast passes for Tower of Terror, Midway Mania, and Star Tours. We know that Rock and Roller Coaster and Midway Mania are on that Tier 1 system, so you can only grab one, and you've got to grab Midway Mania. And I'll get into the exact times you should look at those fast passes in just a few minutes. So you're going to get there at Rope Drop, which is the opening of the park. And if the park's opening at 9 a.m., I would get there closer to 8. I would make sure you're in line around 8:30. They're going to let people in through the turnstiles, and they're going to collect right at where Sunset Boulevard crosses into the main entrance of Hollywood Studios. As soon as the park opens at 9, you're going to want to make your way to Rock and Roller Coaster. Now, if you're a single rider, hop in the single rider line. If you're a family, go ahead and go in the standby queue. But this is the ride you want to get to as soon as you start your day. So you're probably not going to have a very long wait at this point, and you're going to get the chance to ride Rock and Roller Coaster. And then I would have that Tower of Terror Fast Pass for about 9:30 a.m. So by the time you hop off of Rockin', you're going to go over and Fast Pass Tower of Terror. You're done Tower of Terror, and you're heading back up Sunset Boulevard. So go ahead and stop in some of the stores to shop. If you're a Star Wars fan, there's a great Star Wars store. There's places to pick up some treats and snacks that you can throw in your book bag for later in the day. You're going to get back up at the end of Sunset Boulevard to the main street, and you're going to be able to watch March of the First Order at 10 a.m. And this is going to be Captain Phasma and the stormtroopers coming down right in front of you as they march towards the stage in front of the Chinese theater. At that point, you're going to pretty much follow them and just get a waiting spot and catch the Galaxy Far, Far Away stage show at 10:30 a.m. Once that's over, head over to the meet and greets in Launch Bay. You're going to see Chewie, BB-8, and Kylo Ren. Your wait at this point should not be too long, so go ahead and check those out, and then come out through Launch Bay or spend a little bit of time in there and see what there is to offer. You're going to notice that I do not have the Disney Junior stage show on my list anywhere. If you have very, very young children, this would be a spot to put them in, but that show is really only for very young kids and toddlers, so I tend to walk past that one now. So once you're done in the Launch Bay area, you can go ahead and head over to the Voyage of the Little Mermaid, and there's going to be a showing at 11:40. So you should be able to get into that showing. I've never had an issue showing up 3 to 4 minutes before a show starts and getting in, so I don't think you'll have a problem there. Once the Little Mermaid's over, you're going to head next door and spend about 30 minutes walking through Walt Disney Presents. Now, this is going to have an incredible history of Walt Disney's life. It has models of all the parks, and right now they have the entire model of Toy Story Land on display, as well as some pieces of Galaxy's Edge. Usually they're going to do a preview of an upcoming movie in the theater once you're done. When I was just there recently, it was for Coco. So you can catch a 3 or 4 minute preview of whatever movie is new. And if Star-Lord and Groot are there and they're on your list of must-meets, then go ahead and get in line and check them out. So once you're done, you're going to come out of Walt Disney Presents, and I would have a fast pass for Toy Story Midway Mania around 12:30. You're going to go through Midway Mania, and after that, you're going to come back and make your way around for lunch at the ABC commissary. They've got sandwiches, they've got, I think, steak, chicken, so it's a great place to grab a quick lunch. Once lunch is over, you'll come back around kind of to the center hub or center area, and you're going to want to go in and catch the Frozen sing-along. This show is great. Well, I've talked about this a lot in the past, and depending on who you get that play the characters in that and the storytellers, it can be one of the best shows in all of Disney, in my opinion. That show is going to start at 1:30, and much like The Little Mermaid, we've never had an issue walking up a few minutes prior to showtime and getting a seat. It's a very large theater, so again, that's not going to be a problem. From there, if you're interested in Star Wars, which I hope you are because you've already spent quite a bit of time checking out the Star Wars offerings, you can go into the theater right next to the Frozen Sing-Along and see Path of the Jedi. Now, this is a theatrical type theater, and it is cuts and edits from, basically the episode 1 all the way up into The Force Awakens. And it follows basically the path that Luke Skywalker took to get, from where he was to where he is now. And after that, if Olaf is on your must list, as soon as you walk out of the Jedi theater, you're going to be able to see Olaf. So at this point, we're getting into early afternoon, and I would have that third and final fast pass for Star Tours, and that's going to be right about 2:30 p.m. Hop on Star Tours, come out of there and head down the street towards Muppets 3D. Muppets 3D is another one. There's continuous showings. You can get there a few minutes prior, and you're not going to have an issue getting in. While you're there, make sure you take some time in the queue to look around. There's a lot of cool things to see there. So Muppets 3D is done. You're going to walk back out past Star Tours, and you're going to head to the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular at 3:15. Going to sound like a broken record? Again, you can show up a few minutes prior. It is a very, very large theater. We've never had an issue getting in. Once you're done there, you're going to head back towards Sunset Boulevard, and this might be the perfect time to grab some ice cream down at the end of Sunset Boulevard at Hollywood Scoops. And once you've had your ice cream, you're going to go across the street and check out the Beauty and the Beast live on stage show at 5 p.m., which is its last showing of the day. So that's a 25-minute show. We're now at about 5:30 p.m., and you've done almost everything that Hollywood Studios has to offer, and you've spent close to a full day already. At this point, everybody's hungry, probably dinner time. If you want to stick in the area that you already are, closer to Sunset Boulevard, then I would look at getting reservations at 50's Primetime Cafe. And I would probably, at this point, you could be safe doing that around 5:45 or 6 p.m. If the 50's Primetime Cafe is not your thing, I really love Mama Melrose, which is going to be back on the other side of the park near Muppets 3D. The atmosphere in there is outstanding. The food is good. It's a great family-type atmosphere. So one of those two places is where I would, pick to eat dinner. Now, if it's the holidays, you're coming out of dinner, and if it was at 50's Primetime, you're going to be back on Sunset Boulevard, and you're going to check out Sunset Season's Greetings, which is the new continuous holiday show that has the projections on the Tower of Terror that we just talked about recently. And then after that, you're gonna get a spot in front of Chinese Theater for the 8 p.m. showing of Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam. Again, if it's the holidays. If it's not the holidays, you're still going to get that exact same spot, and you're going to check out Star Wars Galactic Spectacular. We're now looking at 8:30. It's close to 9 p.m., and you have spent a full day at Hollywood Studios, and you have done almost everything Hollywood Studios has to offer. So if that's a half-day park, I don't think that it is. I think I hopefully just proved that if you do everything there, you're from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., and you're literally having the best day ever at Hollywood Studios. Now, I know I ran through that pretty quick, and you're running through the park pretty quick to get to each of these places, it sounds like, but make sure you take the time to look around, to relax, whether you're relaxing in a queue for a ride or you're just slowly looking around and seeing, all the decor for the holidays that they have there right now. You're gonna have a great time at Hollywood Studios. All right, so let's move on and let's talk Star Tours. And if you do not want spoilers for this ride, or you've tried to avoid certain things on the changes for this ride, then this is the only time I will probably ever tell you to turn our show off. So I'll just give you about 2 seconds to do that. All right, you stuck around. Awesome. So according to a report from WDW News Today, when The Last Jedi Planet of Crate was coming to Disneyland and Disney's Hollywood Studios Star Tours, this was going to begin on November 17th. And it would only feature characters and locations from the sequel trilogy. And that going forward, the sequel trilogy elements would not be mixed with anything from the first 6 Star Wars movies. So WDW News Today reported that on a to-be-determined date in the future, guests will be able to actually choose between 2 paths, one featuring the characters and locations from the sequel trilogy, or one featuring characters from the past, which would be episodes 1 through 6. If this is true, it would likely mean Star Tours will have 2 queues, depending on the ride experience you want. I don't know how that's going to work out, if they're going to break that up into 2 separate queues and 2 separate rides, much like they have at Mission Space over at Epcot, or if you'll continue in one queue, and at the end, you just make your pick of which side you want to go to. All right, so I had the chance to ride 4 times the morning of November 17th. I got there at park opening, and there are absolutely no crowds on that side of the park because I think, as I was just discussing, most people make their way down Sunset Boulevard to Rock and Roller Coaster and to Tower of Terror. So I literally walked on each of the 4 times, past the same cast members, and I sat in the same Star Speeder. So I got to know some of the cast members during that, hour-long period that morning. So the ride is going to start much in the way it did in the past when you had the opening scene of the Star Speeder and Darth Vader came down. Now this has been switched to Kylo Ren. So again, we're getting into episodes 7 and 8 and sticking with those characters and those locations. I'm pretty sure the movements and possibly even the script is the exact same as it was for Darth Vader. Now it's just Kylo Ren. There's a rebel spy on board, and you have to escape from Kylo and the stormtroopers. So you're going to jump to Lightspeed, and you're going to head to the exact same scene from before where you're flying alongside Finn and the Millennium Falcon. From there, you're going to Lightspeed your way back out, and you're going to get one of 3 transmissions. Now, this is BB-8, which we had seen in the past, the addition of Poe, and the addition of Maz Kanata. So both of the new additions are absolutely incredible, and the use of 3D that they did with Maz is just, it's awesome. And then of course Poe, we have his sarcastic, self there, and they're gonna basically lead you and let you know you have a very important rebel spy. Time to go on this mission, and you're gonna Lightspeed off to Crate. Now, Crate is the planet that is in The Last Jedi trailer, where, if you remember during the AT-AT battle in the trailer, and it looks like they're kicking up red smoke, well, it's actually red dirt from underneath the planet's surface. So you're going to get into that, and you're going to have to blast your way through a crystal cave. And then, once you get out of the cave, you are dead in the middle of the AT-AT battle with Poe alongside you. I don't believe that they updated the screens within these rides, but the imaging and the locations are so crystal clear and they're so immersive and so believable. I think they have jumped way up from what the ride even was before. So it was really, really great to see that. So once you escape from the ATT battle, you're going to light speed out of there again, and you're going to find yourself safely landing on the new planet of Batuu, which is a Galaxy's Edge. And the tie-in, I mean, it gave me chills at the end as C-3PO turns to you and says, I believe this adventure is just beginning. So they've literally landed you right in the middle of what Galaxy's Edge will look like when it is complete in 2019, and it is breathtaking. I cannot wait to see this. And I'm very interested to see how they separate these two paths moving forward on Star Tours. Well, that's pretty much just going to end it for me today. As always, if you are listening to us on iTunes, just go ahead and leave us a rating. And while you're there, you might as well leave us a review. It's just going to help the show grow. Let your friends that love Disney know about our show. I think you can never have too many podcasts to listen to. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter at MainSTMagic. Go ahead and hit us up out there. You know, if you have any questions, we'd like to start answering listener questions in each of our shows. So, you know, please go out and ask. That's all I've got for right now. We'll see you real soon.